Hi, I'm Chef Raphael and welcome to another episode. Today's recipe is really yummy. When I was doing this shoot, my mouth was watering, and each particular moment I was having an opportunity, I was stealing a piece. I'm showing you how to make the most yummy and delicious fried potatoes, but I've fried them and I've caramelized. I've added some onions with the caramelized taste. I'm using the all-new Blue Band, which has omega-3 and 6. Also, I'll show you different ways of how you can use the same potato dish into a snack. Here I've used the mayonnaise as the same way you can use ketchup. Now I'm using the mayonnaise. It's really delicious. As a meal, like a whole meal, you can have the potatoes, maybe some vegetables or greens, some beef or chicken. Here I have chicken. And as a meal, this potato dish will be a blast. Again, it's really delicious. Watch the video and see how easy it is to make them at home. So what I love about this recipe, and by the way, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so that you're actually notified whenever I have a new recipe out. The channel is all about making you a better home cook, and hit the bell button. Also, that is also really helpful. And if you like the video, hit a like button. Now, what I was saying about this recipe is for potatoes that you can use for breakfast. You can use it for dinner. And in today's video, I'm showing you how you can use it for dinner because I've served with some chicken. But what I wanted to concentrate on is how you actually make the potatoes. Now, I've already cleaned my potatoes. And cleaning your potatoes is, you can use depending on the potatoes you have. Some come cleaned and others they are dusty. So you can use the grain pad, make sure that it doesn't have soap, and then just scrub them until they're nice and clean. And you have to also decide, do you want the potatoes as wedges? Do you want them as cubed? So any decision that you make in terms of shape is up to you. And the reason why I actually did not peel them, you can actually peel them, to be honest, but there's something about the skin, apart from the fact that it is actually nutritious. The skin has a different flavor and taste, which you'll appreciate when you make them, especially when you're making them the way we want to make them today. Now, I'm going to cut them into cubes. And also another tip, whenever you're selecting your potatoes, try and find potatoes that are actually of the same size. Because if they're all the same size, whenever you cut them, like the way I'm doing it right now, like this, and then cutting them into half, and then another half, whatever you get in terms of this, the size of the potatoes will all be the same size. If you have others that are bigger or smaller than others, you'll have different sized potatoes. And to be honest, at the end of the presentation, doesn't look very nice. So this is what we want. So I'll cut the rest of them. The trick is having them of the same size. And also, maybe some of you are wondering, which is the best potatoes? This one, the one that usually have a red skin on them, they're usually really good. And another tip again, when the skin is on, even if they overcook, the skin tends to hold the potato together. But either way, whichever way you look at it, this would still be a great dish, because right now what you want to do is boil the potatoes. So that's cold water. I've put some salt, actually plenty of salt. Actually, you know it's enough when you taste the water and it actually tastes like the ocean. And the idea is to have the salt get into the potato, and that will be the seasoning. So now we'll wait for the potato to start boiling. It usually, however long it will take. And the idea is to cook them until they are still a little bit hard on the inside, but cooked. You don't want them to be fully cooked, and for sure you do not want them to be overcooked. because after the boiling process we'll start frying them, and that's why in fact I have the two types of the oil and the margarine. We'll start by frying it with the oil. Here I'm using the canola oil from Blue Band, and then finishing it off. That's where the flavor comes in. It's with the Blue Band margarine. And remember, the Blue Band margarine has omega-3 and 6. It's really nutritious. It's been basically fortified and gives, especially it says here, it's great taste, great nutrition. It also helps in the for the kids as they are growing, and that's one thing that Blue Band has. They always tell us it's great for kids, and I've been using it. Most of us have been using it all our lives, but they have enhanced it, and give it a try. And also remember, it's also using plant-based oil. It actually has, when you look at the ingredients, it actually has canola oil in it, so you won't go wrong with it. So let's wait for the potatoes to boil, and then I'll show you what comes in next. So while the potatoes are cooking, you can be peeling the onion. So the onion is actually optional, to be honest, but it actually adds some flavor to this potato dish. I'm going to cut my onions the same size, in this case cubes, and then I'm going to add them when I'm frying the potatoes. So now the potatoes are ready, and this is, I think I mentioned this when I was cutting them. What the skin does is it actually holds together the potato, because sometimes, you see, if this was not there, the potato can easily crumble, and the skin tends to hold the potato and not fall apart. Again, it also depends on the type of potato you use, so I would still insist, if you can avoid peeling it, it's gonna be great. I've already tasted it. The potato has a nice salty flavor, taste, because of the salt that I put. And then now I'm going to turn on my stove once again, and I want it to be on high heat, because right now, since the potato is cooked, right now what you want to do is brown it. And this is the part where I was saying that you start with some oil, a little bit of oil. And it's always a good idea to add oil to a hot pan, because you actually be able to tell how much oil you have added. And then I'm going to cook this in 2 batches. I'm going to cook half of it first, because the idea whenever you're doing this cooking is that you want all the pieces of potato to be touching the surface of the pan or the pot. I'm going to use my hand just to drop the potatoes. You can actually drop it like this, but I also want to do it delicately. So I'm going to add them with the hand. And of course, make sure your hands are clean. So if you have a pan that has a very wide base, that can also help. Because again, like I said, you do not want the potatoes to be lying on top of the other. You want all of the pieces to be touching the surface of the pan. And then at this point, I'll actually add the Blue Band margarine. Basically what I want to do right now is to start browning the potatoes. Remember, you're using high heat. Now, depending on how well cooked you want the onions to be, you can fry the onions in advance, or in this case, I don't want them to be really brown. And also try and remove the pieces one by one. Adding a little bit more of the Blue Band. You want the browning effect, and this is what you want to see, that browning. And be careful when stirring, don't stir too much. And right now I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper. Remember, you're doing this in batches. So the first batch is ready. I'm going to place them on a plate. You can let them brown a little bit more if you like. Now I'm going to show you another way of doing this. You can start with the onion, a little bit of oil, add the onion. So let the onion cook for about 30 seconds by itself. When the onion is slightly cooked, add the potato. And for the first batch, you can either cover it or put it in a bowl. And again, this is the whole point of doing this, the whole browning effect. And if I could taste one piece right now. So the potatoes are ready. Wow, they actually look really lovely. I wish you can smell what I'm smelling right now. The potatoes are caramelized, and this is all coming from the browning from the blue band margarine. Now you can actually do exactly the same way and add some rosemary and have some rosemary potatoes, or you chop them into small bits, or you can add thyme, or you can skip the onion and just have them. But the whole point, remember, the browning effect comes from the margarine itself. Instead of ketchup, have it with some blue band mayonnaise. Again, really delicious. And together with the potatoes, I have to do this. Heavenly. This is really good. Now, another way you can actually serve the potatoes is as a meal. Because the potatoes are really tasty and yummy, they will go very well with, I made some chicken, with some greens. So you can have your own combination, but this as a meal, still perfect. Remember, also add some rosemary, have a different taste altogether. Add some herbs, any other herbs you like. And also you can even try it with some spices like a curry powder, not too much, and then have that browning effect. They will also be delicious. I hope you've learned something new. I'm signing out. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so that you're notified whenever I have a new recipe out. And hit the like button. And if you have any question, put it in the comment section and I'll get back to you. If you've not followed me on Facebook, I'm also on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter as Chef Raphael. And until next time, goodbye.